Hi everyone, if you're watching a video, we're going to start here in just a minute. I'm actually sort of on time today. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Andy, are we up? So, hi everyone on Facebook. How are you? Hope you guys are having a good day today. It is a dreary Ohio, northeast Ohio kind of day. Overcast, raining, and such a difference from where it was a few days ago, where it was 70 degrees and absolutely gorgeous and a brilliant day to be, outside. And that just now is how you lose a jump ring. Yikes. Okay, we ready to get started? Sort of, kind of. Give me a second here. I lost what I was just working on. It went flying. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, Andy says everybody is up and running, which means we are simulcasting today on 4 channels. It's Facebook, my personal Facebook, Q Talk on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. And what am I doing here? I lost what I was working on. It went, okay, found it. So how's everyone doing? Are you enjoying your week? It's hump day. We're halfway there to the end of the week. What's going on this week? We are, us instructors are preparing for Virtually Ever Crafting, which is next week. Can you believe it? It's been 6 months since the last Virtually Ever Crafting. It's amazing how time is absolutely flying these days. And it is amazing that today Facebook reminded me that it marks exactly 2 years since we did our first live. And I can't believe that I've actually gotten this far, It's great. It's crazy. And I can't believe that this is how much time has flown by. But I'm pretty sure everybody out there is in my boat in that you can't believe it either, right? It's nuts. Nuts, nuts, nuts. But how great it is to be us and to be here and alive. That's what I have to say. All right. So today is UFO Wednesday, and it is continuation of what we did what I was working on last week. Just when I thought it was all done, boop, it broke. So what did we do last week? UFO Wednesday, by the way, is me working on unfinished objects. For a while that was everybody else's unfinished objects. Now it's mine. So this is a this is a ring that I'm making out of a bracelet that I had made years and years ago, but it was a little bit too, shall I say, I don't know, not right. And a little too Wonder Woman-y, I'll say it like that. So I decided that it should be a ring. So last week we took all those apart and I resoldered it into a ring. And then I took all my scrap and I made little jump rings, and we were just sort of doing something that's a little bit more organic, a little bit more, I don't know what you want to call this, free form, I guess you can say. And I was soldering these jump rings on to this ring just to make it interesting. And of course, one fell off at the very end. But let's double check these other joints while we're here and make sure that those are on. Okay, so this one feels a little funky. I think I'm going to put a little bit more solder on there. And sometimes you just need to go back and readdress these things, right? And see, and make sure that they're good. So, okay, let's tighten this in a little bit so you can see. So here we are. I've got another jump ring. Let's go ahead and solder this a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and solder it closed. I have a little bit of an opening here. I'm sure you can see that. And we'll just put a little bit of hard solder on there to start off with before we put it on here. Oof. Okay, everything's a bit of a mess. Hold on. So if you're registered for Virtually Ever Crafting, at this point you should have received your schedule. So if you have not received your schedule, do reach out to me and send me an email and let me know so that we can make sure that you get your schedule. If there's any bad links, remember there's only like 100 of them. If I get one or two wrong, please forgive me. But if there's any bad links on there, let me know too, or else I won't be able to correct it. Okay? I would appreciate that help. So yesterday we did some testing with the vendors and the instructors to make sure everybody is up and running. And we have some really cool new vendors this time for our vendor night. So I'm excited about that. We've got CNI beads, also known as candy beads, and J&M gems. They do, let's see, wood, horn, and bone beads, and then candy beads. They actually have some great semi-precious cabochons and beads. A little bit, it's so funny. It's sort of the opposite end of the wood, because the wood is inexpensive, and then what CNI brings is a little bit on the better side. So that's what we have. And then of course we have all of our other vendors. Janet Libby will be showing her her lampwork glass beads, and she's got glass cabochons this time too. So I'm excited about that, because we will be using her glass cabochons next VEC to do a project together. So not only can you buy it, but maybe next time you can learn how to make them. That for me is what I'm working on. Okay, so I have soldered it. I threw it in the pickle for a minute. I'm gonna just keep moving forward with it here. We'll put a little bit more solder here and get that together. So I'm gonna move down to easy solder, because I want this to happen quickly and easily. I know, it's a ton of solder. Why? Because I'm tired of doing this. I just want this project to be done and over. Sorry, honey. I still didn't understand you. So Janet's watching us today. She's one of our instructors, if you don't know, and she does, she's teaching glass. So something to get into if you have a kiln. Jump into that. You can also learn how to make glass beads with Janet. Pretty exciting. Okay, it's amazing how a week goes by and I totally forgot how I should be doing this. So I forgot I really need to heat up this mandrel a little bit to reduce the heat sink. That's why I was struggling last week to solder it, because there's so much heat sink going on here. So we're going to heat this first, because I need that hot before I put this on. Wow. Still no. Let's turn it. Again, it's all about helping yourself here and making things work for you. The solder is just running up to this little jump ring, and so I'm repositioning to see if I can get it to move differently here. Yes. Yay! Okay. Okay, they're all on. Let's go ahead and pickle that. Give that a minute. And then let's do some finishing today, because there seems to be a lot of questions on how to get, like if you get a lot of solder on something, how do you remove it, right? And there is a ton of solder on this piece. When I say a ton, I mean a ton of solder. Okay, so let's remind everybody, this piece, I made it like, I don't know, it's one of the first projects I ever made when silver was really cheap and you could just buy things like this for pennies, right? It was only like $6-7 an ounce back then. So this bracelet didn't cost anything, but you can even see right there how much solder I have on it. So when I pull the other piece out, And on top of that, I added more solder to do what I did to make the ring. So let's pull the other piece out here in a minute and clean that up and show you how to do that quickly and easily. Okay, so for everybody who's just joining us and did not watch us last week, we do not have this soldering. I don't have this mandrel, the soldering mandrel, on the urbanbeater.com. Can't find distribution for it. The only place that I've been able to find it, quite honestly, is on Rio. So you can definitely pick it up at Rio. My suggestion there too is that you pick up the carbon mandrel instead of the ceramic mandrel, because there's just too much heat sink on that ceramic mandrel. Even using it with an acetylene torch with a larger torch is still a struggle, right? I actually have it here. I'll show you. Hold on. Since we're pickling and I have time, I do have the ceramic mandrel. It's just so much heat sink that I'm not even clear who's using it and how they're using it. In fact, and additionally, they're expensive and they do break, because I broke one. So I don't know what I was thinking when I broke one and then replaced it. For what reason? I can't use it. Even with my natural gas and oxygen torch, it's been a struggle. Okay. I forgot to turn on my pickle this morning. I've had a few things on my brain, but we're gonna go with that. And you know what? I'm going to also go ahead and, before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and patina this. Oh, something up with the barometric pressure today, because my ears keep popping. Ugh. All right, so we're going to do this on a paper towel so I can dispose of this. I'm finding that if I drip any of this on my workbench, it gets all over my tools and starts churning my tools to rust. So I'm going to try to keep this contained. What I'm using here is I am using Black Max, right? And okay, so update on the mandrel. Someone just shared with us that Rio is currently out of stock on that mandrel, on that soldering mandrel. Just to let you know, what I have here is another Rio product. It is Black Max, and I use it for patina because you see how quickly it is just absolutely churning everything, right? So that's why I like it. And it gives a really, really, really intense black. Also, FYI, I don't like touching this stuff. I get a lot of questions on this bottle that I have it in. You know, it's just a bottle I happen to have with a brush on it. Well, where can you get it? Well, I did a little research. I looked on Amazon, and you know what you can use? You can use you can buy empty nail polish bottles from Amazon and put your Black Max in there. And it's really great because it's got this brush and I can just brush it and do what I want to do with it. Like so. Just do the inside a little bit. Okay, there we go. And as always, when you do a patina of any sort, especially with acid, you make sure that you wash it with a lot of water. So I have a water bowl over here that I'm rinsing it out with. Oh God, did something just pop off? It felt like something popped off. Ugh. Okay, we'll brass brush this really quickly. Oh! It did! Son of a gun! Oh man. Alright, well, it popped off. We're gonna have to do it one more time. Golly. So I'm just gonna clean it up here, get the patina off. Unbelievable. Really? So Gail says her Black Max came with a brush in it. Really? I've not seen that. But it's been a while since I purchased it, so maybe they've updated it. Maybe they saw this one of my videos a while back and decided that's what they should do. Could be. You never know. All right, let's try this. You know, fourth time's a charm, fifth time's a charm. How many times have I done this? Are we keeping count? Do we care? Golly. Seriously. Okay. No, I'm not pickling it. Not doing it. I cleaned it off. We're going with this. There's so much solder on here. I'm not adding any more solder either. I'm checking to make sure that there's, okay, so maybe there's not that much solder on here. Let me grab a little bit more. Yes, thank you, Fred, for the comment there. Fred says it shows that this can happen to anyone. And this is why you guys like watching me live and raw and unedited, right? So you can see me screw it up too. Oh my goodness. Okay, just kidding. Actually, you know, I'm going to put a little bit of flux on here. Just because I can, to see if I can get the other solder to flow. We'll heat everything up. Let's get that mandrel nice and hot too. I'm literally just heating the mandrel. Okay. Let's do this. See, even though I have a really hot torch, this mandrel has so much heat sink that it's a struggle. See, it looks like it's on there. Are you on there, baby doll? Checking, triple checking, double checking, quadruple checking. I'm gonna go with it. Ah, la la la. Let's quench and pickle. See what happens. And yes, you're gonna have to start the patina process all over again. But the key today is we're going to do finishing. We're going to finish this. We are talking about unfinished objects accumulating. Okay. Okay. Try this again. Actually, I gotta check this again. See, okay, it is really on there. No, it's not. It just broke. Son of a gun. What is the problem? I don't know what the problem is. I seriously don't. Okay, we'll heat this again. I'm heating the mandrel. I want it really hot because I really don't want the heat sink. Put some more flux on there. the solder did flow. It's just not making good connection. I mean, maybe it's because I didn't pickle it. Maybe because I didn't clean it right. Probably the problem. Let's be honest. Sometimes just trying too hard. Sometimes you need to just walk away from it. But we're not walking away from it today. Because I am determined. Because I am woman. Okay, see, I see the solder flowing, but it's not making a connection. Or, yeah. Son of a gun. And that's my problem, is it's not making a connection even though it's flowing. So I'm pulling it off again, heating that right till it flows. There we go. And then over here, please. It flowed on this side, but it's not wanting to flow over here. Okay. Remember the pinwheel I made over a year ago? That we soldered 7 times. It was a really bad Monday, remember that? Let's check it. Okay, definitely not going anywhere this time. I'm gonna check the other ones too. Golly. All right, back in the pickle it goes. So kits have also been shipped out. I think I mentioned that on Monday for Virtually Ever Crafting. You can still order a class and a kit. Hopefully it'll get there in time. I think there's just enough time. It's still a little over a week still before we get to that. So if you haven't registered, there's still time to register. FYI, you can also register for extended viewing at any time. There is a direct link just for extended viewing so that you don't have to purchase the class all over again. On the home page, it says there's an icon that says extended viewing. So you can definitely do that. And by the way, extended viewing for the recordings, you can extend the viewing anytime during the time during the week of the class and the week of the recording time, okay? Yeah. I'm sorry, what was that? So a suggestion was maybe I make a new jump ring. I'll tell you what, this thing falls off, we're going to another jump ring. But yes, that is a suggestion. Sometimes it's good just to start over, and sometimes it's good just to walk away. Just saying, just saying. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, patina. You know, that's always a good lesson, is learning how to walk away from a project when it's had enough or you've had enough, because forcing the issue is not always fruitful. You know, I get the whole idea of being determined to finish something and just get it done. But again, sometimes enough is enough and it just needs a break. And that's okay too. You know, I've had projects that have gone south and just can't get it to do anything. Come back a couple weeks later and just comes together. By the way, on Friday we have a Zoom along, so that if you want to join us at the bench and Zoom along with us and work at your bench so you don't have to work alone, it's a lot of fun. Maybe I'll finish my Janet project this week. I think that's what I'll be working on, because I think basically everything is done. for virtually overcrafting. I think we are ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rinse this again. If you're watching for the first time, do say hi. Let us know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where everybody's watching from. Okay, we're going to brass brush this a little bit just to get it cleaned up. Let's see how far I get with a hand brush. So question is, does Titus do the zoom along too? Well, you know, it's funny because Andy just mentioned this to me a couple weeks ago that I need to have him make a guest appearance sometime soon because it's been a while since he's been here. So maybe next week or something we will put Titus on so you can see him. He's grown. Oh my goodness. I know he went from 4 pounds and I think he's like 12 pounds now. But Andy tells me that he's sleeping on Daddy's lap right now, which is something he usually does during the lives, is he's sleeping on Andy's lap. All right, I'm going to switch over to something more mechanical. We'll go over to this brass brush, see if we can polish it up a little bit before we start taking off some of the solder, okay? So this is going to get a little bit more aggressive than doing it by hand. For me, it makes life a lot easier. Let's see. So as nice as I can stick it inside of my fan and clean the inside without much effort. Just like that. And a brass brush doesn't take off metal. It's just cleaning it up and polishing it up really nicely. Yeah, that's going to need to be cleaned right there. And now I can see all the solder that I need to clean off. Okay. Because now it's getting nice and shiny. And I can start seeing the imperfections. Taking off some of that patina. And so you can see how I can just hit these little spots right in between all these little crevices. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit better. Okay, so you can see I have a lot of solder in here. I could leave it because it's a bit organic, but I'm not going to. I'm going to clean it because I can, because I should, because I'm supposedly a professional. I know what other shoulds are there here. All right, so I'm going to use a silicone disc. And I'm just going to put it right in there. Let's see. You can see how I can get into these spaces really nice and tight, and how quickly that will clean it up. Why didn't I remove the solder before the patina? Was the question. I don't know. I don't know. I think, honestly, what I was thinking is that I could see it better with the patina on there and where I'm going with it. And really, for this piece, anyway, I just want a patina in the little crevices, not in the main areas. So this helps me see my imperfections even more. It accentuates them. But other than that, I don't think I have a really good reason for it. I do usually clean up soldered before I patina though. But let's be honest, this piece is a bit of a cluster. See, so it's so nice. I don't know if you saw that, but it's so nice. It's coming out really nice and smoothly there. So my my disc has gotten a little blunt. It's supposed to have a knife edge on it. So I'm going to fix that. I'm going to take a somewhat worn file, and I'm just going to do it on the edge here. And I'm going to run it to create more of a knife edge, as you can see. You can also do this on sandpaper if you prefer. Hold on, I'll show you. See if I have some sandpaper. So I have like 100 grit sandpaper, and let's zoom out a little bit here. And I'm just gonna run it on said sandpaper. You see, so I can create this knife edge again. So I can get into these little spots. But I think I'm gonna also switch out here in a second and switch to yet another one of these that can get into the smaller spaces. Wow, I'm a little surprised how quickly this is like happening, because this was a hot mess, man. Huh. Pretty happy. Okay, I'm going to switch out. Bear with me here. So I have a silicone with the bullet shape on it. This one's a little bit worn, but it usually comes like this. And then you've got this tip on it. So let's see if I can get that on here. Again, same thing. What I'm going to do is, so I have a little nut here that I'm going to move up to secure it so it doesn't go back down. You got to be careful because there is a screw in here, and you don't want to be working on it where it's worn down to the screw. But I'm putting a tip in here by sanding on it, like so. And this allows me to get into the really small spaces. See that? Let's go a little bit smaller even. Yeah, I think I'm going to wear this out today. But again, you can see how little I have left on there, but I'm going to use all of it to what it began as. Right? Oops. Okay, maybe a little too much. Oh, okay, we're done. It fell off. Let me grab another one. So here's my new one. And we'll just put it back on here. And screw it in along with the nut. Because you don't want it to be too flexible, right? And although I do have a tip on here, as you can see, it's a little bit too blunt. So I'm going to still shape it a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you see that? I have a nice tip on it now. And this one is the black one, so it's a bit coarse, which makes really quick work out of this. And I can get into all these little corners. Yeah, so happy. And every so often I'm just gonna reshape that to get the tip back up. Just like so. All right. Pretty happy. Okay, so now I'm gonna switch it out to a much finer grit, just to bring back the polish a little bit. So what's nice about the silicone tips is that even though they're coarse and it's making really, really quick work out of it, it's not like sandpaper where you do have to work a little bit harder to get it up to polish again. So I'm just gonna hit everything that I just did with this pink one, which is really, really fine. Not even the blue one, right? And this is gonna bring it back to shine. And I'll also continue to do a little bit of cleanup. As I go. So also, you know, I'm not just using the edge, I'm actually using like the bottom of it and the top of it, depending on where I'm at on my piece. Just remember, all the edges are functional, so use them to your advantage. Okay, so even these jump rings, which were a bit of a mess, are cleaning up oh so nicely. So I'm feeling for sharp edges right now and making sure that all my sharp edges are off. And it's interesting because even this piece that I thought was really a mess is cleaned up very, very nicely. So take the time out to do finishing. You would be surprised. I mean, I have seen some pieces in classes. I was like, oh, that's rough. But they have taken them home and taken a lot of time to clean it up. And they bring it back to me at the next event or the next class. And it's amazing how you can make a piece look great just by taking the time out to clean it up. Okay, again, I'm just feeling right now for rough edges is what I'm doing. Okay, done deal. Let's polish it up some more. I'm gonna put the brass brush back on here and clean up all of the, you see all the residue that I have on my workbench? It's on my piece too. So I'm just gonna use the brass brush again to help me clean that up. Oops. Whoops. You didn't see that, right? Wow, this is great. This is absolutely cool. The process, that is. I don't know if I love the project, but it was, I think it was a good use of material I had and the scrap that I have sitting around, because you know we all have scrap. So I also thought about this morning, what else I could do to this. And I was thinking, oh, you know, I could totally make it the most eclectic ring ever and add like solder more bally beads on it. But sometimes it's just about editing, right? Enough is enough already. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's do this. It doesn't help that my hands look like are black and you can't see the shine of it. So I'm continuing to, hit this and clean up all the residue because I still see lots of little bits of residue inside. Okay, look at that. You know what? I'm going to do one more round of polish here because I feel like it could use just a little bit more. So I'm going to pull out my muslin wheel and use it with a little bit of Euroluster, which is a finishing compound. And let's see if we can get this even shinier. I'm not a huge polished silver kind of girl, but sometimes it's nice to have. I know, some of you guys like it all the time, but that's okay too. We all have our preferences. So I've got this on my wood mandrel for polishing. So we'll embed a little bit of polish on here. You can see my wheel turning white. Oh yeah, look at that. How about we zoom in a little bit so you can see even more. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong thing there. Well, I'm glad Linda agrees with my use of material and time here. Because, you know, this using your scrap sort of pushes you to think outside the box. Ah, yes, I should have worn my gloves. I never think about that. I don't know why. Too late on this one. There we go. You see how nice and shiny that is? It's coming up really nicely. So April's going to be a really busy month around here. So we have Virtually Ever Crafting happening at the beginning of April. And also I'll be at the Glass Craft Bead Expo in Las Vegas for about 5 days right before Easter. And then right after Easter, I'm going to be in Salt Lake City at Salt City Smithery and at Stephanie Chavez's studio. So we'll be doing classes in person, and some of it will be on Zoom on a hybrid. So if you're interested, do take a look at the schedule and see what we have to offer there. I'll be on the road for about 3 weeks, I know, in April. So I don't know what the April live schedule is going to look like. I think it's going to be a little bit hit or miss here and there. We'll see what we can do about getting Stephanie and Amy and Jan to do a live from their studio. That'll be fun. I know you guys got introduced to them a while back, but it would be fun for me to do it from there also, right? Hopefully, at least I think so. Okay, so that's it. Final polish, just clean this off. Now typically I'd go and wash this off, but since the sink is in the other room, we're just gonna do that here. Okay, here we go. Something happened to my camera. I think what happened was it got shifted. When I was doing something, I knocked it. Whoops. Okay. Okay, that's it. Done deal. Black hands means I did some work today. And a high polished piece with black hands means I really did some work today. But there it is. It's sort of fun. It's eclectic. It could work. What size is this? What size? I think it ended up being a size 8. Let's see. 7 3/4 closer to 8. Not bad. Everybody is happily on. Yay. I don't usually wear rings on my index finger, but maybe. We shall see. All right, so that's it for me today. Thank you for hanging out. Hopefully you learned a little something. But, I think the big lesson here today is use your silicone wheel to take off the solder. It makes really quick work out of it, and you'll be pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with the results. I'm really surprised that it has turned out as well as it has with as much solder as I had on the piece. I'm shocked that I was able to get it that clean that quickly. So you should be able to do that too. Yes, I am looking at some of you people out there. I know, I'm talking to some of you specifically. Okay, so anyway, thanks for hanging out. I'll post the Zoom link for Friday here tonight. So be on the lookout for that. We'll see you on Friday. If not, I'll be back on Monday with another start from scrap. Or I'm sorry, not start something new. Start something new on Monday. Don't know what we're starting, but we will be starting something. I think maybe spoon rings. We'll see. All right, until then, have a good one.